Most people have no idea how much power they give away every day. Every word spoken to justify, every explanation, every argument, it leaks strength. You think you are clarifying. You think you are defending yourself. You think you are being understood. You are not. Silence preserves authority. Silence holds power. Silence wins where words fail. You have a choice. Every time someone challenges you, questions you, or pressures you, you can react. Or you can control. That's the key. Most people react. They argue. They explain. They defend. And in doing so, they surrender authority. They hand over leverage. They expose weakness. Think about arguments with friends, family, or colleagues. Someone says something offensive. Someone criticizes. Someone challenges your decision. The first instinct is to explain, to justify, to defend. They speak too much. They overexplain. They overreact. What does that accomplish? Nothing. It makes you predictable. It makes you reactive. It makes you weak. You don't need their permission. You don't need to be validated. You don't need approval. You don't need agreement. You have control. That's the key. Here's how the disciplined person responds instead. Pause. Observe. Decide. Do not speak immediately. Do not react. Do not justify. Let the words hang in the air. Let the tension sit. Let others reveal themselves. You are not being cold. You are being strong. Silence preserves authority. Silence holds power. Silence wins where words fail. Let's break this down in real life. At work, someone questions your project or challenges your idea. The reactive person jumps in immediately. They defend. They explain every detail. They try to prove themselves. The disciplined person listens, nods, remains calm, observes. Who appears stronger? Who is in control? Who will lead? In personal life, the same rules apply. A friend says something hurtful. A partner criticizes. A family member questions your choices. Most people fire back emotionally. Most people overexplain. They feel compelled to justify. Stop. Pause. Control. Watch. Silence preserves authority. Silence holds power. Silence wins where words fail. Every word you add when it is not necessary is power you give away. Every sentence is a signal to others. I am unsettled. I am insecure. I am reactive. You don't need to prove anything. You have a choice. You always have a choice. This is not about being cold. This is not about arrogance. This is about discipline. It's not about proving strength. It's about showing it through control. It's not about reacting. It's about pausing. It's not about validation. It's about power. Here's your action plan starting now. The next time someone challenges you, pause. Count to 3. Breathe. Observe. Do not explain. Recognize your urge to defend. Recognize your urge to justify. Stop it. That urge is emotional noise. You have a choice to override it. Let silence do the work. Watch the other person reveal their true intentions. Let them fill the gaps with their own words. That's leverage. Remember this. Silence is a weapon. Every time you resist the need to prove yourself, every time you stop explaining, every time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen your position. You gain clarity. You gain control. You gain respect. Silence preserves authority. Silence holds power. Silence wins where words fail. You've taken the first step. You've learned that over-explaining is a liability. You've seen that reacting gives away power. You've embraced that your validation is not required. This is control. This is discipline. This is the foundation of unshakable power. Every time you react emotionally, you give away power. Every heated response, every defensive word, every impulsive gesture, someone else gains control over you. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. You have a choice. You always do. You can react, or you can respond deliberately. That's the key. Most people react instantly, automatically, emotionally. Someone insults them. They fire back. Someone criticizes them. They justify. Someone disrespects them. They argue. And in that moment, they lose. Why? Because the first person to react is no longer in control. They are following the trigger, not leading the situation. They are giving away the map to their mind. They are predictable, and predictability is weakness. You don't need their permission. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to be understood. Here's the truth most people ignore. The less you react, the more they reveal themselves. The more they expose their intentions, their weaknesses, their insecurities. And in that exposure, you gain leverage. Think about social media. Someone posts something meant to provoke you. Most people type instantly, comment, argue, defend, react. And what happens? They get baited. They lose control. They look weak. The disciplined person does nothing. Observes, waits, does not engage. Who appears stronger? Who is in control? Who wins? Reaction is emotional surrender. Response is strategic power. You have a choice, always. At work, the same rules apply. A colleague questions your decision. Your first instinct: justify, defend, over-explain. The reactive mind jumps immediately. The disciplined mind pauses, listens, assesses, acts when it matters. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. Here's how to practice discipline. Recognize the trigger. Every insult, every challenge, every critique is a test. Pause before responding. Count to 3. Take a breath. Ground yourself. Do not speak immediately. Observe and assess. Let them reveal themselves. Let silence be your weapon. Respond strategically, or not at all. Only act if it strengthens your position, otherwise let it pass. Most people fail because they mistake urgency for correctness. Because they mistake emotion for truth. Because they confuse impulse with power. It's not about feeling justified. It's about choosing restraint. It's not about winning the argument. It's about winning yourself. It's not about proving strength. It's about exercising discipline. Reaction is a trap. It exposes everything you want to hide. Insecurity, need for validation, weakness. Do not fall for it. You've seen it in relationships. Someone attacks verbally. You respond immediately. Words fly. Tone escalates. The argument grows. You think you're defending yourself. You're exposing yourself. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. Now look at the alternative. You stay calm. You pause. You let the words hang. You do not validate the attack with your response. The other person grows uncomfortable. They reveal more. They escalate, and you observe. Silence becomes your ally. Calm becomes your weapon. Control becomes your default state. You have a choice, every moment. React and surrender your power. Or pause, observe, and reclaim it. That's the key. Here's the action step for today. Whenever someone triggers you, do not speak immediately. Take a breath. Wait. Let the urge pass. Count 3, 5, 10. Every second you delay weakens the emotional hold they have over you. Every second you pause strengthens your position, your clarity, your control. Reaction is weakness. Restraint is strength. Exposure is loss. Silence is leverage. You have mastered the urge to prove yourself in Chapter 1. Now, you are learning that reaction itself is a liability. You see that emotional surrender gives away control. You understand this. The less you react, the more power you have. You mastered restraint. You've seen the cost of reaction. Now it's time to see the advantage of quiet. Most people think talking proves strength. Most people think explaining shows intelligence. Most people think reacting demonstrates confidence. They are wrong. Silence is your secret weapon. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is power. Silence sees more. Silence knows more. Silence wins more. You have a choice. You can fill the room with words, or you can let silence speak for you. That's the key. The quiet person observes. They notice patterns. They hear what others miss. They watch reactions. The loud, reactive person loses clarity in their own noise. You don't need to speak to dominate a conversation. You don't need their permission to hold space. You don't need to prove yourself to be heard. Real-world example. Negotiations. A deal is on the table. Both sides want an edge. Most people rush to fill silence. They justify their position. They talk too much. They react to pressure. The disciplined, quiet person says almost nothing. They let the other party speak, reveal their limits, and expose their true intentions. Silence becomes leverage. Observation becomes strategy. Control becomes dominance. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. Silence equals insight. Insight equals power. In personal life, the same rules apply. Someone criticizes you. Someone questions your choice. Someone tries to provoke a response. Most people argue immediately. Most people over-explain. Most people validate the challenge with reaction. The disciplined person pauses, listens, lets silence do the work. Others reveal themselves. The truth comes out without you saying a word. You gain authority. You gain clarity. You gain control. Here's how to practice strategic silence. Pause before responding. Even 1 second creates distance between the trigger and your reaction. Observe without interruption. Watch body language, tone, and intent. Let others reveal what they cannot hide. Respond selectively, or don't respond at all. Speak only when it adds value, not to justify or defend. You have a choice. Fill the silence with words and lose power, or let it work for you and gain leverage. That's the key. Silence is uncomfortable for most people. The mind wants to fill empty space. The ego wants validation. The untrained personality seeks defense. You don't need their permission to be quiet. You don't need to explain your decisions. You don't need to react to prove strength. It's not about being passive. It's about being strategic. It's not about hiding. It's about observing. It's not about weakness. It's about discipline. Think about pressure situations. A confrontation at work. A heated family argument. A tense negotiation. Most people talk too much. They reveal too much. They react too quickly. You stay quiet. You pause. You watch. And suddenly, you are the one in control. Others escalate. Others expose themselves. Others reveal weakness. You gain clarity, leverage, and authority, all without saying a word. Repetition rewires behavior. Every time you resist the urge to fill silence, you reinforce discipline. Every time you observe instead of reacting, you reinforce control. Every time you pause instead of defending, you reinforce power. You have mastered restraint in chapters 1 and 2. Now you are learning how silence amplifies that restraint into advantage. Your action step. The next time someone tries to provoke you, stay quiet. Observe. Analyze. Let them over-explain. Do not respond immediately. Let silence work for you. Control the space. Control the perception. Control the outcome. Quiet is not absence. Quiet is insight. Quiet is leverage. Quiet is power. You mastered restraint. You saw the cost of reaction. Now you are learning how quiet multiplies your strength. Next, we will take this discipline even deeper. Control is powerful, but control over impulses creates real outcomes. Every impulse you feel is a test. Every urge to react is a challenge. Every emotional spike is an opportunity. You have a choice. You always do. Obey the impulse, and surrender your power. Delay, and reclaim control. That's the key. Most people cannot wait. They act the moment they feel triggered. They speak without thinking. They react without strategy. And every time they do, they lose. Think about it. Someone insults you. Someone criticizes your decision. Someone tries to provoke a response. The instant reaction. Words fly. Tone escalates. Decisions are rushed. Mistakes are made. You see the pattern everywhere. Social media, work, relationships, everyday life. React, and you expose yourself. React, and you surrender leverage. You don't need their permission to pause. You don't need to justify your delay. You don't need to act immediately to prove strength. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. It's not about impulse. It's about control. It's not about proving a point. It's about winning the long game. Here's how the disciplined person operates. Pause first. Observe second. Decide third. Even a few seconds of hesitation gives you clarity, removes chaos, and repositions the balance of power. Impulse is emotional noise. Decision is strategic power. You have a choice. Always. Example. A colleague criticizes your work in a meeting. Most people react immediately. They defend themselves. They justify. They over-explain. The disciplined person pauses, breathes, watches the response, then speaks with precision, only when it matters. Who looks in control? Who commands respect? Who gains leverage? Every day, your impulses are tested. Anger, frustration, excitement, desire, anxiety. Most people obey their emotions. They act, they speak, they react. You do not. You pause. You assess. You choose. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. Impulse obeyed equals loss. Control exercised equals power. Here's the exercise you must adopt today. Recognize the impulse. Name it. I feel anger. I feel frustration. I feel provoked. Delay action. Count to 5, 10, or 20. Let the emotion pass through your awareness without dictating behavior. Respond intentionally. Speak or act only if it serves your position. If not, remain silent. You have a choice. That is always the key. Impulses will come, constantly. Life will push, provoke, and pressure you every day. The untrained mind reacts immediately. The disciplined mind delays strategically. And in that delay, power accumulates. This is how leaders operate. This is how calm people dominate. This is how quiet strength becomes unstoppable. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. It's not about immediate satisfaction. It's about outcome. It's not about winning the moment. It's about winning consistently. Every pause is training. Every delay is a representative for your emotional control. Every measured response builds leverage. Every ignored provocation strengthens your foundation. You've mastered the urge to prove yourself. You've learned that reaction is weakness. You've discovered the power of quiet. Now, you are learning that control over impulses determines the outcomes of your life. Action step. The next time you are triggered, pause first. Observe the situation. Decide what action, if any, truly benefits you. Do not act emotionally. Do not speak impulsively. Delay and control. That is the difference between the reactive and the powerful. You are training discipline. You are building control. You are mastering your life. Next, we will explore how to turn this practice into a permanent, unshakable force. Silence alone is a tool. Discipline is what makes it lethal. Silence without control is empty. Discipline without practice is meaningless. You have a choice. Practice daily, or remain weak. That's the key. Most people think emotional control is natural. They wait to feel calm, or be in the right mood. It never happens. Control is trained. Discipline is built. Every trigger is a representative. Every pause is a set. Every withheld reaction strengthens your emotional muscles. Think about your daily life. A colleague insults you. You feel the urge to respond. You pause. You breathe. You do not react. That's training. A friend provokes you. You hold your tongue. That's training. Life constantly tests you. Every test is a chance to reinforce discipline. Reaction equals exposure. Exposure equals weakness. Discipline equals restraint. Restraint equals strength. It's not about never feeling emotion. It's about not obeying it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's not about showing others. It's about training yourself. Here's how to turn silence into power. Recognize triggers daily. Every insult, criticism, challenge, or provocation is a training opportunity. Pause consistently. Take even 1 second longer than usual to respond. Let the moment pass without giving into emotion. Observe your responses. Notice where you lose control, where your impulses push you, and where you succeed. Learn, adjust, repeat, reinforce daily. Discipline is built through repetition, not motivation. Every moment you resist is another representative for your mind and your presence. The untrained mind reacts automatically. The trained mind pauses strategically. The untrained person gives away power. The trained person collects it silently. Silence becomes strength. Observation becomes leverage. Restraint becomes dominance. Most people do not realize this. Most people believe that power is shown by words or actions. The disciplined know the truth. The less they react, the more control they have. You don't need their permission to practice. You don't need validation to pause. You don't need to explain to maintain authority. It's not about proving you're strong. It's about being unshakable. It's not about winning the argument. It's about winning yourself. It's not about being reactive. It's about relentless discipline. Every day you train, silence becomes instinctive. Every day you resist impulses, your presence grows. Every day you pause instead of reacting, people begin to respect your authority, even without a word. This is how leaders are made. This is how unshakable minds are formed. This is how quiet dominance becomes invisible power. Your final action plan. From this moment forward, treat every trigger as practice. Pause before speaking. Pause before reacting. Observe before acting. Let silence enforce your authority. Let restraint enforce your respect. Let discipline enforce your power. You have learned the truth. Words are weapons. Silence is armor. Reaction is weakness. Discipline is strength. Control your impulses. Control your responses. Control your life. You have a choice. You always do. Practice relentlessly. Master yourself daily. Train silence into power. And never, ever surrender your authority to emotion again.